if you trying to understand something, usually you would look at it in greater detail. Might work though. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to have a look at what gigs are happening in Bristol this weekend. I'm hoping this will be a regular segment or a regular episode. I've always wanted a resource like this. Yes, you can go online, pretty much just like I've done, and have a look at the different gigs that are on. But I thought it might be nice to have somewhere where it's all compiled. So I've picked some of the biggest venues in Bristol. We've got Mr. Wolves, we've got the Fleece, we've got the Canteen, we've got the O2 Academy, and we've got the Old Duke. Some really big, important staples in Bristol. I did have a look at the Gallimorphy. I don't know if you guys have been to the Gallimorphy. Excellent venue. Back in the old days when I were a wee lad, it used to be called the Prom. I saw some really cool bands there. I saw Bristol's own Jane Taylor there on an album launch quite some time ago. It was the album was called Montpellier. It was a good album, but they just seem to be doing DJs this weekend and sort of going more for live music. So let's dive into it. So looking at Mr. Wolves this Friday, 22nd. So the weekend is the 22nd of March. The Friday night, you've got Selena and the Howling Dogs. They're blues, and the tagline is making blues relevant again. Not overly sure when blues wasn't relevant, but hey, they look pretty cool. They sound pretty cool. Should be a good night. And Mr. Wolves is always a great venue. I've had quite a few bands play there. Horn and Glory have played there. I know that the Brass Junkies have played there. Not with me though. Trip for Biscuits, one of the bands I play in, I really enjoy playing sousaphone with. They have played there. I've been there for one of their gigs. Played. It's been fantastic. So they got that on Friday the 22nd of March. Also Friday, if you go to the Fleece is a fantastic Bristol venue, really well known. Used to be called the Fleece in Firkin. The Fleece have got Hell's Bells on Friday night, an AC/DC tribute act. I've seen Hell's Bells before. There was a venue in Bristol called Tunnels, which was under Temple Meads years ago. It's not there anymore, but they were a great band, and I think they usually do their own support, where they do some like classic covers. But the Hell's Bells tribute band itself are fantastic. And then in the Canteen, which is up in Stokes Croft, on the right hand side if you're going up Stokes Croft, the Canteen has the Shinglings and DJ. I don't think it's a DJ at the same time as Shinglings. I think it's a DJ after Shinglings. I need more info on that, I guess. They have billed themselves as the Shinglings, a mix of salsa and funk musicians who formed the boogaloo scene in New York in the 1970s. This is a pretty big deal. I've actually embarrassingly not heard of the Shinglings, who formed the boogaloo scene in New York in the 70s. But there is some footage you can check out. They've played the Bell in Bath, which is really cool. There's some videos from the Bell in Bath to check out, which is really cool. The O2 Academy, which obviously the O2 Academy is a very big venue. It's not a big venue, but it's one of the biggest in Bristol. And they this weekend have probably the best band of this lineup. If you have never seen Dragon Force are touring at the moment with Amaranth, and they're doing a dual header tour, and they're playing, and the tagline for this is Swedish metal band Amaranth are teaming up with UK power metal band Dragon Force for a co-headline tour. Expect this double headline bill to explode with excitement as both bands are back with their biggest albums to date. This tour promises to deliver an unforgettable experience for their fans. I went to see Dragon Force, possibly 2010 in Bristol, and it was a great night. They've got loads of really good tunes. I think that even may have been before Through the Fire and the Flames was on Guitar Hero 3 as the final boss. If you've never ever seen Dragon Force before, I highly recommend. I'm not familiar with Amaranth, but they must be a big band to be sort of double headlining with them. The Old Duke in Bristol. So the Old Duke in Bristol on Friday night. The Old Duke is a classic jazz venue. It's on the corner, just off King Street. Nice venue. I've played there a couple of times. It's very nice. They've got the James Oliver Band. I've clicked on it. There's a photo with a man's head missing. And no other information other than that you have to RSVP, which I don't think is true, because the Old Duke never charge you to get in. It's public. It's big. So I got no information on what they sound like. I got no information on what they are. They're probably really good. So that was Friday night in Bristol. If we move on to Saturday, so we'll go back through the venues again. Mr. Wolves have got the Golden Guild and Dutty Deeds Collective. Again, Mr. Wolves, great night out. Really intimate venue. And I believe they have a club night after. So really, really well worth going. The Fleece have the Imperials. Now the Imperials, I know some of the members of the Imperials. they were in my school wind band. The Imperials are a ska band, Bristol-based ska band. I think they're celebrating, it might have been last year or this year, like at least 20 years of being a band. I've seen videos of them. They're a great time. So if you're a loose end Saturday night, the Fleece, the Imperials, should be a good night too. The Canteen on Saturday, we've got Minus. Minus are a Greek/Welsh. What combo? What combination? Greek/Welsh heavy electro punk ensemble. Got a bit more information now. Minus grew up in the circus with parents who were heavily involved in the 1980s punk scene and then moved to secondary school in the Welsh Valleys. His music draws from the boredom and shenanigans that took place. So half boring, half shenanigans. The song reveals stories of a checkered past over a deep mix of deep melodic soundscapes and loud aggressive impacts. I don't know what that means. Sounds cool though, a mix of deep melodic soundscapes and loud aggressive impacts. Minus holds a mirror up to society, trying to understand it. Usually you hold a mirror up to something for the other person to understand. If you try to understand something, usually you would look at it in greater detail. Might work though. So that's the Canteen. The O2. What have the O2 got on? Dragon Force on the Friday. We talked about that one. Yard Act. Leeds four-piece Yard Act are back with a new music after the runaway success of 2022's Mercury Prize shortlisted debut album, The Overload. The subject of rave reviews and numerous accolades, in 2023 saw them open the main stage at Reading and Leeds as well as numerous appearances at Latitude, Fuji Rocks and Boardmasters. Yeah, looks like a hipster band. Very Bristol. So that's the O2 on the Saturday night. The Old Duke. Couldn't tell you what's going on at the Old Duke on Saturday night. Not sure they've got any listings up for Saturday night. Oh, here we go. I've made a huge error. So Friday night, the band is TBA. Saturday night is the James Oliver Band. So if you were dying to see the James Oliver Band, you need to go on the Saturday to the Old Duke, not the Friday. If I have missed any venues and you think that, or if you have a gig and you'd like to promote it for next week, you'd like to let us know, do hit me up. You can get me at wiltshire@therockproject.com. You can also send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I'd love to know about your venue or about your band so we can dive a little more into it. Have a great weekend. I'm going to put up a list at the end here of all the gigs that are available, like a spreadsheet almost. If you go to any, comment down below, let me know how they went, or send me a message on our various social media platforms, and hopefully I'll see you soon.